Last week we started to talk a bit about the idea of tzimtzumim, of contractions. And specifically, we spoke about Tzimtzum Arishon, the initial Tzimtzum that Hashem contracted himself in order to leave some space and some room for the possibility to create the world. And that is step one. Because step one is, we gave, for example, a parable with charismatic people. When a charismatic people walks into the room, all eyes are on him, right? When you're focused on one specific person, there's no room for anyone else. And that was the same thing before Hashem made the contraction, the Tzimtzum, where he filled the entire existence with his presence, and therefore there was no room left for anything else to exist. So if we think about ourselves, definitely we wouldn't have a self-existing feeling like we have today. The focus is again on him, right? But when the focus is on one person, you don't pay attention to what's happening around you. Right? So that is where initially the whole idea of Tzimtzum starts off. And chapter 49 continues this path line. And in chapter 49, he teaches us a lesson or sends us a message based on the idea of Tzimtzum in general. So it's interesting because he speaks here about 3 types of contractions. And we say this every single morning when we say Elokai neshama shenatata bi. Elokai neshama shenatata bi is the idea that Hashem gave us a soul. Each and every one of us, we have a soul that gives us life, and this soul comes from Hashem. And the soul that comes from Hashem, there are stages. There are different levels that the soul is brought down to us. Starting off, if we can read it here, we've got a siddur right here. So in the words, Elokai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Starting off and saying that the neshama itself is completely pure. Ata verasa, ata yetzarta, ata nafachta bi, ve'ata mashamra b'kirni. So the idea that the Alter Rebbe points out is that we will see that there are several levels. Ata verasa, you created the neshama that is connected to the level of Beriah. We know that there are other worlds besides our world here. This is a material, a physical world, but there are also spiritual worlds. And one of the highest spiritual worlds, there are actually 4. Atzilut, Bria, Yetzirah. Those are the 4 different worlds. And the meaning behind these worlds is that each world is a new level and a new stage with in connection to the Hashem's light. So the higher you go, the more light there is. The lower you go, there's less light. Right? So for example, the world of Atzilut contains a lot of light, to the extent that whoever exists in that world is completely nullified by the light of Hashem. That's why the translation of the word Atzilut is, how would we translate Atzilut?
Nearness.
Nearness. That's a very good way to translate it. Etzlo, for comes from the Hebrew word Lashon HaKodesh, Etzlo, by him, near to him, close to him. That is the whole idea of the word of Atzilut, which means there's not yet a real separation or a real Hashem didn't form the world completely, let's say. It is still very much under the influence of his light. Very much under his own influence. And therefore, the creatures who ever existed, we were speaking about spiritual creatures, angels, etc., souls. Angels don't exist there, by the way. Angels start only later. But the souls, they have a certain presence there. And the spheros, the 10 attributes in that world, those 10 attributes and the souls are completely nullified. Which means they are very much under the influence of Hashem. We'll take, for example, today's Gimel Tammuz, and it's the Rebbe's yard site. So a neshama of a tzaddik comes from Atzilut straight to us. He's considered to be neshama de Atzilus. Each one has a different level of his neshama. We cannot compare one neshama to the other. Each one has his level, has his mission, has his the root that he's connected to, which drives him to behave in a certain way here in the world. So the Rebbe's neshama is considered a neshama d'atzilut. And all the Jewish leaders, also in the previous generations, are considered to be a neshama d'atzilut. And that means that when they come down here to the world, they are still under the influence of Hashem, but just in a material body. Yeah.
Can you please translate the following part?
The following part of
When he speaks, what happens then?
where in here. So the next level is Ata Barasa.
No.
Hashem, you created.
You get to the end when you pass away.
No, not yet. But it's not.
Can you translate?
Yeah.
And then I can make a connection.
Okay. So it says at the end, V'ata Mishamra V'kirbi, you store it within me. V'ata Asid Litla Mimeni, you are in the future, you're going to take it away from me and return it back. La'atid Lavo. La'atid Lavo means in Olam Haba, in the future.
And then Baruch at the end?
Baruch Atah Hashem, Hamachazir Nishamot Nifgarim Meitim, restoring, returning souls to dead bodies, which this is blessing is for every day in a certain way.
Why?
Because every day the body is considered that it's a 1/60th.
When you sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we say this blessing every day.
What does it
Special.
exactly mean?
Pegar is a body, dead body. Pegar. Baruch Atah.
Amen.
So, Rabbi, in the higher worlds, is there a surplus of qualities that they come down
What do you mean a surplus?
more than they need, and that they come down from one world to the other?
So you're referring to the question, so why did he continue creating worlds that are on a lower level? What was so bad with the world of Atzilut, for example? It's a great question. We'll speak about that as well. That's a sign that Hashem wants us. There's something important about this material world. So that is the world of Atzilut. The world of Atzilut is a near world, close to Hashem, under the influence of Hashem. Whoever reaches that level, you have no self-desires. All of your desires are totally devoted to Hashem. And that is the idea of a Rebbe, that the Rebbe here in this world, he still is devoted completely to Hashem. The next world is the world of Beria. So read it in the words of Alter Rebbe, Ach derech klal hem shloisha minei tzimtzumim atzumim klalim. 3 major contractions for 3 general worlds. Shloisha minei olamais klalim. And within each world there are more contractions, but these are the big contractions. And they are Bria, Yetzira, and Asiyah. For Hashem to form, we also learned about it in Derech Mitzvah Sefer, that if Hashem would create the world with his unlimited light, he could create a world like that. But it wouldn't be what we see today. Space, time, order would not exist. Because he's unlimited. He's creating it with that unlimited light, with that unlimited spirit. So the results would also be unlimited. Which means without the laws of physics, for example, the laws of physics would not exist. A stone or a ball, whatever it is, could fly up without any cause. Why? Because it's Hashem's unlimited light, so everything is possible. Everything's possible. It's unlimited. Tohu, maybe that's the idea of Olam HaTohu. That it's we would call it a bit of a balagan. There's no order there, right? So when we come to the world of Atzilut, that is still close to Hashem. That's why it's not such a major tzimtzum. It's not such a major contraction because Hashem still feels at home there, so to speak. But next level is Olam HaBriah. Briah means creation. So here we already separated from Atzilut, from the near world, which is close to Hashem and his influence, and he creates another. Creating another, that's already giving room to self-existence. Now, of course, they are very aware of Hashem. And that's a world where angels belong and also souls belong, but they're already angels because there's something else. These angels are still very aware of Hashem, and there needed to be a contraction. And we spoke about it last week, that there are a few ways to define the contraction. One could be like a curtain that you put in front of a great light. You don't want the sun to go directly into this room because it would be too bright, right? So instead, what do? You put a curtain, and the curtain causes the light to fade a bit. And it's strong. That is the curtain that exists between the world of Atzilut, the near world, and the world of Briah, the world that was created. And then we go to the world of Yetzirah, and also to get to the world of Yetzirah, Hashem needed to put another barrier, to put another curtain, bigger curtain. Yeah, Yetzirah means point. Hashem already formed the world. Not only that he created one, he said, you have a soul to form. Has to do with more, not yet material, but it's a bit more material. It's not the material physical world, but it's much less of a Hashem light existence. That is the lower world. Then we have the world of Asiyan. Spiritual Asiyan is the physical Asiyan. And this is the world that we are in today, where we actually can barely see Hashem. It says about the world of Asiyah that the majority of it is bad. The majority of the world is bad. There's a bit of good also. And that is the world that we exist. After we understand these three levels, let's speak a bit about the purpose. And this is connected to Hanoch's question at the beginning. What is wrong with the world of Atzilut? Why couldn't Hashem just create a perfect world? And in that perfect world, everyone would be under the influence of his light. And if everyone's under the influence of his light, everyone does good. There's no pain, there's no suffering, there are no challenges. People keep Torah and mitzvahs all the time. So what's wrong with that? And here, this is what the Alter Rebbe says. V'tachlis kol hatzimtzumim hu kedei livroi gufa adam hachomri v'la'kafya l'sitra. Hashem wanted specifically to create a material world with material bodies, physical bodies, in order for us to, if I'm not mistaken, the correct word is subdue the sitra achra, the impure side. In order to force the impure side, the sitra achra, the impurity that is in the world, to go by Hashem's ways. In Atzilut, can we do such a thing?
No.
No? Why? Because everyone's, in the first place, is created good. There's no bad there. There's no sitra, there's no other side. There is no impurity in those places. So in order for us to be able to control our desires and control the Sitra Achra, Hashem needed to create a world that is very different to what he is. Very different to what he is used to. That there's not much light. Okay, so we know what to do. We know what to follow. And to try and reveal the light within the darkness, right? Light within the darkness, it emphasizes the light much more. You can feel the light much more. It's like a person that suddenly, if you're used to light, so okay, it's nice that you have light, but there's no real advantage. The moment a person is in a dark place and then suddenly there's a bit of light, wow, he appreciates it very much. Yes.
How is the word? Don't put an obstacle in front of How is it?
Lifnei iver lo titen mechshol.
Which is what he did.
Okay, it's a very good question. And the answer is, and this is always what the Rabbi said, that it must mean that we have the kochot also to overcome that. You're right, if there's a blind, and the issur, the prohibition that the Torah says, don't put an obstacle in front of a blind person. Why? He's going to trip, for sure. There's no chance. But if a parent, let's say, or a teacher puts a barrier that the student or the child can overcome, not only that it's not cruel, but that's how you build him to be better. And that's what Hashem wants us here to do. That is Yitron Ha'or Min HaChoshen. If everything's smooth and everything's easy, and the student doesn't need to put any effort into studying and into learning, everything, he knows everything. Connected a USB here, he's got all the information and that's it. So there, okay, you can stop over there, but there's nothing special about it. It's special once the student doesn't have all the information in his mind. And he does it slowly but surely, consistently. He does what he can. So we think sometimes that Judaism is about perfection. And you have to know everything. And if you don't know certain things, so what is the point to start in the first place? The Alter Rebbe says that Hashem gains most pleasure from light that is within darkness. Which means that in a dark room, a person is able to light a candle. Wow, that is special. A student that does not know much, and suddenly with the right effort and the right time investing that he does, he starts learning more. Well, in that case, it's a great thing. That you will give a prize to that student. There's a story of, I think, one student that he did not know Gemara at all. He joined the class, and the class went much ahead. They finished the Masechta, and he did not finish it, but he finished one page. So his rabbi said, yes, you can take part in the seal, because for you, this is completing something. So that is point number one. And point number two is, just to answer Yaakov Meir's question, is that it means that we have power to overcome. It doesn't mean that it's easy, but we have the ability. We have the ability to do it. And we all know that it's enough that once we were able to overcome it, right? That challenge, a different challenge, a struggle in life. So the fact that you could do it once, that shows that you have the ability. For many reasons, we decide not to, and that's why it's hard. And that's why Hashem gains pleasure. But the ability is there. Yes. Vadim.
This, I was taught last night that the Chabad needs to know everything. The Lubavitcher doesn't. I don't know what it means. But
Okay.
What was it?
Who said that?
Chabadnik, Chabadnik,
No, at the beginning.
needs to
No,
know
Rabbi, not everything. You get Lubavitch, no.
doesn't have.
But they call themselves Lubavitch. They call themselves
That's
Lubavitcher. We don't need to know everything. Hasidic word, what you said. Hasidut Chabad is very much about intellect and about knowledge. And not only that, but about the beauty of the wisdom of Hashem. Chochma bin Adas. Imagine. Connect to it's like you learn the deepest Ma'amorim when you understand it, you connect to it. Lubavitch is to take that and to try and bring it into practicality. So you don't have to know everything. You've got to put your soul there as well. Boots on the ground, as they say. And
Above in relation to you will tell.
yeah,
Where I was, the soul of belief. How could he die? It doesn't make sense. That he's not
Yeah.
dead, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
he came up like I
So-
can't explain that.
yeah. So that was the answer that we don't have to understand yet. Maybe there's something true about that answer. We don't have to. We're not afraid of questions.
Dat staat dus van Akasha.
That's from Rabbi Chaim Brisker, who wasn't Chabad, but he was very close to Lubavitch, sorry. No, because Chabad was the first 4 generations. And then 5, 6, and 7, which is the Rebbe Rashab, the Rebbe Rayatz, and the Rebbe, that's when it's more Lubavitch. A bit before as well. But that was the main... Because there we spoke about, I think, once, that there are other Chabad offsprings. Kapust, Nyezhin, other cities that also are descendants of Alter Rebbe, they're also considered Chabad, but not Lubavitch. And Lubavitch is the only one that exists now.
So why is it written here Chabad? On the top floor?
You're right. In France, there are that Lubavitch.
Costs less. Then Lubavitch is longer.
Yeah. Could be.
Better marketing. Better marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. So not only that, the Alter Rebbe doesn't stop at that point, but the Alter Rebbe says something else. The Alter Rebbe says an additional idea that I think is very fascinating and very encouraging to serve Hashem. And it's like, let's say you go to a meeting and you want this meeting to be good, or you want to show the person how much you respect him. So what you do is you tell the person, I'm turning off my phone. What do you expect of him? You turned off your phone, you put it on silent mode, flight mode, you put it there on the side, buried it in your bag, whatever it is. What do you expect of him? He should do the same thing, yeah. In the words of King Solomon, Kamayim hapanim lapanim, kain lev ha'adam el ha'adam. Right? It's like a person looking in the mirror. You smile at the mirror, you'll see a smile back.
Panim lapanim,
Kamayim hapanim lapanim, kain lev ha'adam el ha'adam. It's like a person that smiled yesterday, and you expect today to get a smile again. You want to smile again today? Smile today. You'll get a smiling back. And we've got to make these, we've got to make these ideas, we've got to think about it. We've got to make it clear because we come with a lot of expectations and we might even feel in the same mood. You know, I like this person. Why is he not smiling back? But wait a second. Did you smile at him? You smiled at him yesterday. Maybe you still feel it, but show it to him. Hashem shows us his care and his affection every single moment by creating us. Okay, think about your personal life. Think about the great things that Hashem gave you. There are challenges, right? But think about the good things that you can definitely say, these are great things that I have in my life. Okay, it could be 1, 2, 3, there are for sure 5, 10 things that you can count now. Where did this come from? This comes from Hashem. So Hashem gave me these good things, and therefore I should show him the same. And this is what the Alter Rebbe says. V'hinei kamayim hapanim lapanim v'kamo shakadosh baruch hu kivyochel. Hiniach v'silek l'tzad acher. Hashem extracted himself. He wanted to give room to us He wanted to give room to our personal desires, to our achievements, to our personalities. This is a world. This is the definition of a world. What is a world? It's many, many people with many different desires, that they live a certain amount of time, that they achieve accomplishments, that they can enjoy the world, benefit from it. And that is because Hashem removed himself, extracted himself, and said to us, you can go and you can enjoy it. So as a result, we should say, you know what, Hashem? I'm going to leave my desires and I'm going to try to serve you better. The same way as what you did to me. You removed your presence, enabled our individual presence. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to set aside all my desires and I'm going to allow you, Hashem, to be the focus in my life. And this is what the message that we learn from the Tzimtzum really teaches us. Alachas kama v'chama v'kiflei kiflaim lein kates. Ki ra'ui la'adam. Person should gam ken lahaniach v'la'azov kol asher laminefesh vad basar. To leave everything that he has, to give up on everything, in order to stick to Hashem, connect to Hashem. There's a story actually about the Tzemach Tzedek. He had a chassid, that this chassid had a business. And he decided one day to quit the business. Why? Because he wanted more time to spend with Hashem. So of course you have to work, you have to make a living, but this was his emotion, his feelings. And this is a great parable. If I'm not mistaken, the Rebbe himself told this parable, and the Rebbe cried about it very much. The Rebbe said that it's like there was once, and the story is that there was once a child that was playing hide and seek with his friends. The problem is that he hit so well that his friends stopped looking for him. They looked 1 minute, 2 minutes, they can't find, and he was still there. So the child noticed that they went along playing other games. He ran back, and this is a story that happened many years ago, which means that hide and seek, the game, was invented quite a long time ago. But he went to his father and he told his father, they stopped looking for me. So his father started to cry. His father said, this is the exact story that we have with Hashem. Hashem was here. He was revealed. He was present. Then he extracted himself, removed himself from the world, expecting us to go search for him. And we don't always look for him anymore.
That's true. They say that's true.
Yeah.
About really great teachers and rabbis that are near you in your lifetime.
You don't appreciate them as much, yes. NACHLAOT. So yet, in a certain way, it's worse, because even after the lifetime, it's like we're not searching for them. We should be in a constant search after Hashem. Hashem hid himself. That's the idea of contraction, of Tzimtzum. He's here, but he's hidden. He's hidden in mundane things that happen to us, etc.
Sometimes it can come in a dream.
Yeah?
It could.
Yes?
Never does.
We're coming up to Shabbat Chazon. Shabbat Chazon is the Shabbat during the 9 days when we speak about Chazon Ovadia, if I'm not mistaken.
Vision.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, it's Chazon Ovadia. And that's the prophet Ovadia.
Yeah.
We spoke about the manager of the king, the CEO of Achav, and this is the prophet. So
That's a little time.
what happened then is that it says that we, each and every one of us, we dream during that night. We dream of the temple, of the third temple, basically. Why? It's like a king that sews for his son a beautiful outfit. and his son ruins it one time. He builds him another one. He ruins it again. So the king says, you've got to learn how to use it, how to wear it, how to keep it. So he sews it for him, and then once a year, he shows him that suit, that outfit. So Hashem also, we had the first temple, the second temple, we couldn't maintain it. Hashem says, I have the third temple for you, but I want to wait and see how you behave. And he shows it to us once a year. That is Shabbat Chazon, that's dreams. Yes, sometimes it can come in a dream.
Do you ever have such a dream?
About what?
God talking to you.
No, not yet.
I've been here a year and
But
still haven't come to Jerusalem.
So why I'm saying this? Aster,
Yeah.
his hands. If you get miracles, then stop this.
Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be through this.
But if you dream, and the dreams come from there, it's something in between.
Yeah,
It's not a miracle.
right.
You can say it's just a dream, or you can say
It's a message,
it's a message.
for sure.
But we don't get it.
We don't get it yet because we need to search. It's like hide and seek, and the person is out there. That's like a miracle. He's out there. So
You see,
it's not.
you see,
You see, yeah. But where you've got to seek in Manden Hashgacha Pratit. In the path, you've got to take what happens to you and look at it.
What does the Baal Shlemazl do?
What?
What does the Baal Shlemazl do?
He does the same mistake over and over again.
And after a while, it say,
Yeah, but you've got to find it. Yeah, but we could find it in certain things in life, not everything, but here and there we can see the hand of Hashem. Call it this, call it that, but and sometimes the more you look, the more hints you get. So maybe not everything is 100% correct, but like that's the mindset that we have. That's like or at least you know what we look for it. The fact.
It's a wishful thinking.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But so first of all,
Wishful thinking is against
if
המוח שולט בלב.
I'll give you an example for
Wishful
wishful
thinking זה
thinking.
הלב שולט במוח.
Yeah. Okay. What is an example for wishful thinking? It's like a person that goes and he fills out the lottery. Okay. So for him, until the raffle, he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
He already planned which house he's going to buy, which cars he's going to buy, the vacations that he's going to take, how much money he's going to give to this friend, to that friend. Bezrat Hashem, amen.
No,
And
This is an old one, it's already done.
that's gone. You know what? They did a research that, I don't know, 20, 30, 40%.
you can throw that away, but this one's gonna win.
Very nice. Bezrat Hashem.
60%?
30% don't even check the results on the lottery. You're going to Shalom, you've got 1 in a million chance to win the lottery, you're not going to go check. You already paid for it.
First of that
Yeah.
is David Letterman. What would you do if you won $10 million in the lottery? Buy 10 million lottery tickets.
So,
It's very crazy.
so that is wishful thinking. So first of all, wishful thinking becomes a problem only when it causes a person to behave in the wrong way. If you have wishful thinking and this makes you excited, that's what they say, even when a person builds a stock portfolio, so he should put 5% or 2% in stocks that he says, you know what, maybe that stock's going to go through the roof. So they say, yes, it's good to put 2% over there, even though most chances is that the 2% is going to stay down or go totally down. Why do they say to do it? It's because wishful thinking sometimes is it's part of who we are. Yeah, we've got to strive, we've got to dream, we've got to have some imagination. If it leads a person to put all of his portfolio into those stocks, terrible. And if a person buys the lottery or scrapes a thing every single day, I saw people walk in the store, the guy 500 shekel of those things. That's terrible. It could be an addiction. It's bad. So if that's the sign to see if it leads you to positivity, if it doesn't disturb your parnassah, your regular day-to-day life, okay. Gesundheit. And in every wishful thinking, there is also something true. So it's like everyone that wins the lottery, that does the lottery, once he won 10 shekel, he won 20 shekel. So with the wishful thinking like this, Beseder, at the end of the day, you get real answers or real directions once in a while.
In Israel, where does this money go?
It goes, you'll see, it says Mif'al HaPayis.
Education.
It goes a lot to education. And I know schools that you can see, or community centers that you could see. I think there's much more money over there. I don't know where the real money goes to, but I think it pretty much goes to, sorry?
Yes.
The army.
What's the salaries?
No.
I don't know.
Fat salaries.
To fat salaries. A lot of the guys that run it, they probably are covered pretty much, legally, of course. And where else? There's Israel is a very a lot of expenses, everything. Army, Bituach Leumi, Haredim, the Arabs, everyone. We all have to have that. And yeah, it's a cycle. Okay, so what the Alter Rebbe tells us is that according to this, we could understand something very interesting that we say in Shacharit every morning in the Shema. We have the Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem is one. And not only Hashem is one, love Him. Ve'ahavta es Hashem Elokeinu. Wait a second. How am I supposed to love Him? Why should I suddenly say, Hashem is one, Hashem is the God, Hashem is the only God, the one and only, and therefore love Him? It's a bit hard to force people to love something, someone. So the Alter Rebbe says that is why before the Shema we have several blessings that are called Birkos Kriyas Shema, starting off with Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Yotzer Or Uvayrech Choshech Oiseh Shalom Uvayrech Hakoel. Some people say that. And here we go to discuss the worlds above. We go and we discuss the angels. Kadosh, Kadosh, Halfanim, Chayot HaKodesh, all different types of angels with different names, different characters, different qualities. Why are we speaking about angels? Alter Rebbe says this is exactly what we learned now in the Tzimtzum, in the contraction. Hashem is all the way there. Hashem created one world, another world, and finally created us. And therefore we should love Him, because of His affection toward us, because of the fact that He cared so much that He created us, human beings. He did not need us, really. Could have been excellent. He would enjoy the world that's near to Him, the world of Bria. Why did He create humans that have a feeling of self-existence? And not only that, but they have the ability to do bad, to cause damage, to destroy the beautiful world that He created. The answer is because He wants something from us. He needs us. He cares for us. Now, when we say Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, I'm prepared to return that kind of love. In the same way that He loves me, the same way that He created me, and He created all of these worlds of the angels, and each angel has his own style and own level and own saying that He usually says, Kadosh, 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 Baruch, Kvod Hashem U'Komo. All of these ideas, they basically show the effort that Hashem put in each and every one of us. And in the words of the Alter Rebbe, Ubezeh yuvan ta'am v'das chachamim shetiknu birkos kriyas shema shtayim lefanei. The blessings of the Shema that we say before the Shema itself. And the reason is mishum she'ikar kriyas shema lekayem b'chol levavcha, that we should be able to serve Hashem with a full heart. How could I serve Hashem with a full heart? Serving Hashem with the full heart means that I don't pay attention to negativity. I don't pay attention to even natural, I don't give it much room to natural desires. Nafshecha, your life, Ma'odecha, your money. Why should I give that over? Like Sidro Birkas Yotzer, here, where it speaks a lot about angels and what they do to show the greatness of Hashem, that all of these creatures are so special, they are so nullified. And not only that, but Hashem had an interest in creating us.
And the angels really nullified, it's not just the way they look.
They are nullified, yeah?
Because they don't have egos.
They don't have?
Egos.
Exactly, and that's why they're nullified. But they did not need to control the ego. So that is, that's a deeper understanding of the idea of nullification, of Kabbalat Ol. And you're right. It says in a certain place that Hashem needed us in order to be considered a king. Maybe we should learn that. It's Hemshech Sanachei. It's a very interesting style of Ma'amorim of the Rebbe Rashab. Hemshechim. He said it throughout the whole year. Every Shabbos he added a bit more. And there it speaks about the idea of a king. Okay, of Hashem being a king. And starting off with coming closer to Rosh Hashanah, we ask Hashem to be our king. And the lowest level means that Hashem needs us in order for him to be a king. You need, what's the word? You need soldiers, common people to rule over. You can't be a king in your family. You can't be even a king over your ministers. You can't be a king over cats.
But what your wife?
Shouldn't be that way. So the first idea is that Hashem needs us in order for him to be a king. There is a different level, a higher level, the highest level where he could be a king even without us. And we're doing a shir basically on the Siddur, it turns out. This is the Adon Olam. What does this mean? Adon Olam Asher Malach. What does that mean? Adon Olam, the master of the world that ruled, Asher Malach, that was a king. B'terem kol yitzur nivra, before any creature was created. You have to have creatures in order to be a king. Without the creatures, without the people, you're not, who are you going to rule over? Sorry?
Malach.
So Malachim, that was Hanoch was saying, they have no ego. You're not ruling over them. They automatically do whatever you want. We could call it some kind of kingdom, but it's not a kingdom that Hashem's. So in Salachei, that Maimari explains something very, very special. It's deep. It's a deep idea. He says there are certain desires that a person has that they start off even without the person knowing of that desire. And I'll give you an example.
Kadmut HaSechel.
So he's saying Kadmut HaSechel, we could call it Kadmut HaMalchut, which means Kadmut HaSechel is a bit of a different concept, but it's connected to the idea. I just want to stick to the idea of royalty. In this world, it says that a person without a home, a house, is not a person. Kol Adam she'en lo bayit ein adam. We know it. We know it from the time that we needed to move an apartment. Right? You move an apartment, you have everything planned.
How would
Everything. Sorry?
En Adam.
Kol Adam she'en lo bayit ein no adam.
בבית, זה בית, לא זה אשתו.
Bayit kipshuto. Not ishto. We're not speaking about a wife. This is specifically 100% speaking about a roof, a shelter that a person has. A person without a shelter is a half a man, half a human being. We know it from when we need to make changes and we need to move from one apartment to the other, that it takes a week or 2 or 3 or a month till you adjust to your new house. And then not only that, but when you go into a nice house and you feel, I feel at home here, it adds to who you are. It adds to your Adam. It's not like you're enjoying it like you enjoy a vacation. It's a person, everyone knows that feeling. You come into a house and you feel this is it. And unfortunately, when it's not that way, you come to a house that it's לא לעניין. So let's speak about this. And the question is,
You were
when
speaking about how she led without even knowing.
without even knowing. So, and this is the point. A person that wants a house, the desire for a house is way before he knows that there's such an idea of a house. Even a little child, technically he doesn't know that there's an idea of a house or anything like that, but it's engraved in his atzmut, in his essence, because there are certain qualities or certain, let's call them qualities, that are a result by definition of who you are at your core.
Needs.
The most vital needs. And for Hashem, the most vital need is to be a king. So that starts off even before there are tenants, even before there are civilians.
That's something.
No, it's not that he lacks something. It's not that he's missing it. The idea is that that is part of what is Atzmut, what is Hashem in highest level.
So what was
The idea of Hashem in the highest level is that he is a ruler at his core, at his essence.
what was before
Because he
creation?
created. He's the master.
What was before creation?
Him.
He wasn't complete.
Why not?
He wasn't well.
It's not, yeah. It's not that, it's not like there's a chisaron in it. It's
If there was no Hisar, he would have created it.
a good question. It's a good question.
But if Hashem exists for all time,
Yeah.
so we can't use kind of measurements saying what is complete to such an idea. We can't conceive.
Right? He's beyond our understanding. But again, the idea that there's a king before the people is that it's part of his qualities even before it develops out there.
I mean,
Right? It's like you had a certain plan, you know, or you have a certain desire. We're not talking about the core of who we are. The core is the house, but a person without a house is not a person. But even other desires. Person has a desire, I don't know, to drive a very nice car. He works very, very hard. And then he gets it 20 years later. He goes back to the same feeling that he had, that he desired that. So now he fulfills this desire.
I have
So
to
for-
feel that way about my scooter.
Okay, so it's a very easy topic. The whole. So that's another thing. It's not really a shinui. It's a shinui because he wanted it to be so. That would be
He wanted to shield.
It's not a real shinui. If it's up to you, if it's in your hand, it's not a real change. It's not by something else, by someone else.
You know, the problem we're having right now is we as finite beings, as
Yeah.
finite, in a finite world,
Yeah.
we're trying to define what the infinite is.
Yeah.
You can hold up your water glass right now, and before that water glass became a plastic water glass, it was a different form,
Right.
and it was Hashem. It as creation changes and fall and collapses into something else. Creation is still there; it's in a different form. But the problem we have is that we cannot conceive that Hashem has unlimited resources
Yeah.
and unlimited energy to be able to create and make and change forms to something else that we cannot possibly um, imagine or contain.
Right. That's the big difference, that we are limited, and not only we're limited, we cannot even understand the idea of infinite. And Hashem is different. Sorry?
It's impossible.
It's impossible. Yeah. Right.
So when we talk about Hashem being complete in Tzimtzum,
Yeah.
it's not the same way.
What do you mean?
That when we talk about creating in a human sense, it's to add to something what's complete.
Right.
But what does that mean when Hashem is already complete? So what is he adding to?
It's a difficult question to answer. There are a few answers, and this is a bit what Yaakov Meir was hinting to. That he decided that he wanted something else. He is complete. He doesn't need that. He decided that he wanted it.
There's Friedman talks about Hashem needing.
But that need itself is only because he wants to need. It's like the famous question, can Hashem create a rock that he cannot pick up? So you say that he cannot pick it up. Is he limited because of that? No, he created it. He put himself in that situation that he says, I need you, I want you. But at his essence and his core, he doesn't need anything. He can go back to that state. And not only that, sometimes it says, and now the answer is that it's for us, it's not for him. Even after he created the worlds and he seems like he needs something, it's not for him. It's for us. It's a complicated topic, you know.
What about the Hashem Behechlet?
Sorry?
What about the Hashem Jamur?
What about him?
He created
Yes?
for his good
For who's good?
of the Hashem.
The Rasha has a choice. The Rasha can change his ways. Even the Yetzer Hara is like pure bad, so that's only to test us. Okay. So I think we're going to stop over here.